welcome back to another episode of Cinema Uncivilized. My name is Joshua Drover. We have Daniel and Drayton. We are your hosts for Cinema Uncivilized. And on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Steven Spielberg's classic from 1977, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So yes, this came out in 1977, and this is about as follows: a guy who encounters a UFO, has this crazy experience, and he kind of goes insane, and it follows a couple different stories of people that have this same close encounter, and then obviously leads to this secret base, I guess you will, in Wyoming, which is this crazy tower. I looked it up. It's actually massive. I don't know. I drove through Wyoming recently, and I wasn't too far from it. But yeah, this is a classic. And so I guess this movie, when it came out, it actually received 8 Academy nominations for the Oscars. And wow. Yeah, it actually won an Oscar for Best Cinematography. And the other categories that it got nominated for: editing, best director, best supporting actress, the score, art direction, I guess that was a category back then, film editing, sound, and visual effects. But yeah, pretty crazy. I would say, how do you guys feel about the cinematography win on that?
I think it's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, you have what I'd like to say is like some amazing, their visual effects. I'm sure I wish I could read more on it, but I thought they were like almost like paintings, especially when the clouds would like form. But I guess we're past that at this point. I'm sure they were just visual effects. But and nonetheless, yeah, there's some amazing sort of shots into the sky, as well as maybe they really loved the alien stuff at the end as well. I think the scene where they're in India as well is great. I thought also the very opening sequence in Mexico was also fantastic. So I can understand.
Yeah, I have a hard, I have a problem. Or
a problem?
No, I have a hard time expressing how I feel about cinematography because I don't necessarily know how to talk about it. But there are a few scenes that really stuck with me that I thought were very impressive. One of them was, I think her name was like Jody or something. She was the other lady that was kind of going crazy and was following, was it Neil around? Is that his name, Neil?
Are you talking about Roy?
Oh, Roy.
Oh, Roy.
There we go.
Roy, yes.
Okay,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and anyways, she her kid is being pulled through the dog door, and it's just like complete red light, just like very well contrasted and everything. And that was a scene or a shot that really stuck with me. And then same with the alien perspective. I think for like a film made in the 1970s, that was probably something revolutionary.
Totally. That's actually one of my favorite scenes. When the little boy's getting abducted and he opens the door, it's just like the light with the silhouette. So cool.
It is, yeah.
There's a lot of really cool scenes. And I thought the same thing for 1977, for how good this movie looked with physical props, miniature sets for the mothership. It was like a mini model. It's a mini model. They made that kind of similar to Star Wars, right? But
right.
Pretty cool, eh? Pretty epic.
That was cool. The only thing that they could have improved on were the little aliens. They should have left that out, man.
I just thought there were a bunch of little kids walking out at first.
Oh, man.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I guess before we get into it, so just speaking about Spielberg, I know we kind of talked about him quite a bit in the previous episode. Is Spielberg objectively or influentially, or influence, or just at all, is he one of the greatest filmmakers of all time? Is he in that category, would you say?
I think it brings up an interesting discussion. I think for me, at least, yes, he has to be. If you probably in a Mount Rushmore almost. You'd probably have to put him up there anyways, just by default. But I mean, we brought up the greats of, I'd say Martin Scorsese and him for sure. Sort of in terms of the old men of film, have to be in at least a top 10 list. But I mean, there probably are people that are into different kinds of film that might not view Spielberg as all that influential or all that great. At least for me, I would say yes, he has to be in these top lists.
Yeah. And I would say like any director that can instill a worldwide phobia of sharks or whatever else has got to be very influential. So I think that's got to say something.
For sure. I would agree with you guys. I think, yeah, like super influential. His style and the way he makes movies feel magical and emotional. They make you feel something, you know? And yeah, definitely something special. And so I kind of want to just, we had a good look at his filmography, but if you guys want to pull out his filmography again, it'll make it a little bit easier. But I want you guys to maybe give your top 4 favorite, not in a specific order. You can rank them if you want, but what are your top 4 Spielberg films?
You know, it's embarrassing because I'm not going to be able to mention Schindler's List. I feel like that's probably on everyone's top 4.
Yeah.
Me and Josh have talked about that, though, that we both haven't seen it. And it's not for a lack of trying. It's more so just how do you prepare yourself for a 3-hour devastating Holocaust movie?
Yeah.
And just be like, this is it tonight, boys.
This is
I
the
think we have
vibe.
to. Yeah, I think we have to pick it for an episode in order for me to really settle down and watch it at this point in time. So let's see. At least from what I've seen, E.T. will be in there.
Yep. That's a classic. That's a good one.
Either Raiders or The Last Crusade. I mean, Jurassic Park. And then I wish I'd seen some other ones, to be honest. This is kind of crazy. It's kind of embarrassing that we're on a film podcast and haven't seen more. I wouldn't put Minority Report up there. I know a lot of people love Minority Report, but I did not feel all that like wowed. Maybe I would if I was in 2002, but I didn't. And then I would put Saving Private Ryan. I've seen it, but if I'm honest, it was kind of a while ago, so
All right.
don't quite remember.
I would say for me,
Wait, so what were your top 4?
yeah, what's number 1?
But I thought we were ranking them. But
You're not ranking them, but you just kind of speeded off a bunch of movies.
no,
You didn't
hold on.
give a distinct top 4.
I said E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
I'll stick to Raiders of the Lost Ark, actually, over The Last Crusade. Jurassic Park and Saving Private Ryan. There you go.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
I would have to say Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Saving Private Ryan, and I think I'm gonna say that just because this is like a childhood classic, but Hook with Robin Williams.
Oh, I had a feeling you'd say that one actually.
Yeah.
I don't exactly have great remembrance of that one, though I know I've seen probably most of it before.
Right. What about you, Josh? Oh, wait,
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember seeing a clip where they kind of go over the best looking food scenes, and Hook was one of them, and was in one of those. Yes, I would say for sure. I would say Close Encounters of the Third Kind as well. I'm gonna have to go The Last Crusade, and I do know what my number 1 is for sure. I'm just trying to decide of that third one. I wanna save the first one for last. So I think I'm gonna go Catch Me If You Can. It's either Catch Me If You Can or Jurassic Park, but I'm gonna go Catch Me If You Can. I enjoyed that movie, but my top one's gotta be Jaws.
Nice.
It's a perfect movie. It's so good.
I actually haven't seen that yet.
No way.
No, I haven't either. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. No. I
Shoot.
haven't gotten around to it, but I would believe you 100% because, and just since we're talking about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, if he didn't have Jaws, he actually wouldn't have had as much creative control as he did for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was very much about the success of Jaws that allowed him to secure probably a bit more money and a bit more influence on the creation of the film.
Yeah,
So
that
credit
is
to
true.
Jaws. I believe it.
Yeah, it's a 5-star movie. That's a 5-star movie for me. Yeah, I would recommend both you to watch Jaws because it's so good. I think you both would really enjoy it. Cool. Yeah, that was fun. Was this your first time seeing Close Encounters, Jay?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Well, me as well. So we're all three of us.
Nice.
Cool. I guess kind of. Before we get into it, do you guys believe in aliens? And if not, has this movie maybe changed your opinions?
No, I don't believe in aliens.
You don't
Whoa.
believe in aliens? Okay, that's an opinion. Yeah. Not even after watching this movie?
No, probably not. I don't know. Like aliens from another world? I guess if the universe is infinite, there has to be like another planet maybe similar to ours where there could be life. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I think I more so believe in like spirits and like ghosts and whatnot, but aliens is a hard reach for me.
Okay. Fair enough. Daniel?
Yeah, to a certain extent, because as you mentioned, the universe is just vast, and I mean, I'd argue there's probably several planets like ours, and there are some human beings there right now that are living just like us, weirdly enough. I would just dispute whether there would be weird shaped people that will come one day to conquer this specific planet and like assassinate everyone essentially. So I don't know about that much, and but yeah, I'd agree that with so much in the world, it's not crazy that we would be the only planet with human life.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's crazy to think with how vast the universe is that we would be the only life forms. I do believe that there are aliens for sure. Whether they've, visited and been here on Earth is another thing. I do know some people who said they've personally had some close encounters. And it's unfortunately with AI and the way things are, you think having video or photo proof would solve that issue, but it just doesn't now because everything could be fake. So, yeah, is there any sort of solid evidence that we know of today that aliens have been on Earth? No. But I think it's possible, yes. And I think they are out there, but whether they've been here is another question.
Yeah, I will mention this about this movie. At least I was read via Wikipedia, great source. It said that NASA and the government were very much against this movie, and NASA even wrote a 20-page letter to Steven Spielberg. And so he actually felt the need to make this movie more so because of how much sort of retaliation he was receiving from NASA, of all things, right? So as you mentioned with Disclosure Day, it seems like there's a lot of things that he's pulling from real sources, and that might stir some government officials a bit in a concerned look. But I'd say there surely must be something if there's that much of a stir amongst the powerful people.
Mm-hmm. I read that as well, too.
Well, this film does nothing but promote distrust in the government. So I could see why they'd want to prevent that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if what NASA were complaining about is they don't want people to know that the aliens use trombones and tubas to be communicating with them.
I don't know. I think more so just a belief, because that's the whole thing with the government, right? Like no matter what encounters have happened, people that have these things, they label them as crazy, right? Like that's always been the narrative. And yeah, I love this movie so much. So what were your thoughts, guys? Initial thoughts. This is the first time for all of us. Yeah, how did you like this movie?
I mean, I was a little hesitant when you chose this movie because I don't know, I don't watch many films like before the 2000s these days.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Dude, you're missing out on so many good ones.
I don't know, man. I'm always like interested in what like the emerging I guess what the emerging voices have to say, which is why I love like contemporary artists that are emerging like Ari Aster and all these other great artists. But
all those movies are like come from movies like these.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But yeah, I was a little hesitant, but afterwards, like I was very impressed. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like another one of those cheesy alien movies. Same like trend going through the whole thing. But it actually really impressed me. Like I thought the writing was very well done. I was constantly in awe by the writing. There were a lot of themes that I thought were very interesting that Spielberg and the writer was attempting to address. And yeah, as we talked about before, this film did receive an award for cinematography, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought it was a beautiful film for the age of the film itself.
Excellent. I would say that it certainly felt like a classic, having watched it. So I haven't watched it before. Of course, I'm well aware of like the success of the movie and always having heard it mentioned how necessary it is as a sci-fi person to see it. So yeah, it's a fantastic movie, I think. I appreciate what it is because it is a bit different than most alien movies you do see. I think that focusing on almost what happens to people when they're not believed. Focusing on like the family dynamic that might get ruined because of that. Because yeah, at first I thought the movie would just be about government officials getting down to the bottom of it, which most of these movies tend to be, right? Like very heavy on people that know what they're doing. While in this case, it was actually just like the civilians that happen to witness it. And so I thought that was a cool touch. I think in terms of acting wise, everyone did a good job. And then I just feel for so Roy, right? We're establishing his name's Roy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like his story is just kind of crazy. Like loses his whole family, finds a new woman.
I thought that was crazy. That was insane.
Yeah, like a lot happens for this guy, and so just a different. I would say that the movie, I appreciate that fact that it is different than other alien movies, and I had heard that they really wait to show the aliens until the end as well. And so yeah, some of my favorite scenes, if we're gonna even dive into that, I just wanted to shout out the scene where they abduct Barry, the little kid. I actually thought that was the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And I was actually genuinely kind of scared. I was like, oh my gosh. This is a little bit scary.
Cool. Yeah, that was, I have that actually noted as well as my favorite scene. Just, yeah, it really builds up the anticipation. It makes you kind of scary. And I was thinking about that, about how, movies tend to make alien abductions a little scary. Even though this movie doesn't really portray aliens as evil, with how the little boy, he was just so not scared and like, oh, wow, like, let's make a friend, let's play, just so willy-nilly running through the dog door. Okay, I love this movie as well. I don't typically watch movies, at least in my own time, from the 70s as much, but I grew up watching movies from 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, because my dad, those are the films he watched, and I was always watching movies with my dad. We always watched, I don't know if you're familiar with TCM, Turner Classic Movies. that channel it plays the classics, right? From the older times. And so kind of seeing the graininess of this film and that era from the 70s kind of made me a little nostalgic a bit from watching films with my dad. But yeah, right from the start, this movie had me sort of locked in and engaged with them being in the desert, finding that World War II plane, that, cartologist got French translator asking those, where does this come from? Why is this here? What happened to the guy? It looks like it's brand new. Why is it from World War II? Just asking all the, and it makes you wonder, like, oh my goodness, yeah, like where did this plane come from? That it just makes you think like that it was just dropped down from the alien spaceship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the movie, they're discovering all these crazy things in the middle of nowhere. Like, how did this get here? I love that. I agree. It does have some interesting themes as well too, with the Roy going crazy, becoming obsessed with this idea, these visions that he's having. I think it was funny when they had that close encounter with the civilians. Oh, actually, that's actually probably another one of my favorite scenes, was that close encounter scene. Him coming up and just the way that scene was shot, with that man sitting up on the side of the hill, the kids in the back. Like, that scared the crap. That was spooky. Like, I'm like, oh man, this is like putting me on edge with this. Like, this is, oh man.
Dude, that reminded me exactly of like The Eyes Have or The Hills Have Eyes, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just like that kind of vibe.
Literally, I was like, wow, this is really good. Like the way it's making me feel, just on edge, really uncomfortable with these civilians who, are just civilians. There's nothing wrong with them, but just their vibes. And so I thought it was funny how the UFOs come and it's just the police guys chasing them down. little police chase with the UFOs, and then goes driving off the cliff.
They had to tell to Julius, I'm like, dang, that guy got some serious air. Went flying.
Yeah.
I like the little spaceship at the end, the little like dot that travels right after all the other ones pass away.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
You know what I thought was impressive in this film is we're basically introduced to the idea that the government knows there's UFOs from the very start of the film, because they're on the phone call. They're like, "Did you encounter a UFO?" And you're like, and then basically it's strong writing, because you kind of like doubt that the whole film. Like halfway through the film, I was like, okay, there's gonna be no UFO at the end of this film, and that's gonna be like a cool story in and of itself. That Roy is just gonna be going insane because of these conspiracy theories. But you get dragged back in. You're kind of always on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. And that just, like, I've listened to some podcasts. I don't know if you heard of Bob Lazar. He talks about, he shares his experience. But anyways, a lot of this like classified information is usually military, Air Force based, right? And so that's also the setting in this movie. And I love that scene when they're like, "Do you want to report a UFO?" And you can hear the guys on the other line. They're like, "No, sir." And then the other guy's like, "Do you want to do it?" And he's like, "No." Pretty much like, "I don't feel like filling a report out,"
Yeah.
So yeah, like there is a UFO there. They have the data and they have the visual, but it's just, the amount of work they'd have to put through to do that. But yeah, no, I agree. Good writing. But yeah, I think sort of the craziness that Dreyfuss goes, I said his real name, Dreyfuss. I think his name's like Richard Dreyfuss or something. But his photo on Letterbox, I'm like, no way, that's the guy. That's the same guy. He's so old. I didn't recognize him in the film. But it's crazy to see how he has this encounter and he starts going crazy. And same with the
Yeah.
other woman too. She's going crazy too, seeing all these. What was the purpose? Why do you think all these people were seeing like the Devil's Tower?
I don't know. A lot was unexplained, right?
Yeah.
It's not. It seems that people that see the spaceship as well have like these visions and also just mind manipulation because just naturally, seemingly he was making the hill or whatever on his mashed potatoes, leading to him having just a bunch of breakdowns of sorts, to him being in that shower, just not knowing even what he's doing anymore. Like he really, yeah, I think there's some sort of manipulation that happens, having seen what they see, and so like that's a crazy scene as well. Just him throwing things into into his kitchen via the window, and just no stopping him. The he didn't even want the garbage. He wanted the garbage bin. He just dumped it on the street. Wanted the lady's chicken wire.
Yeah.
So,
And all the neighbors slowly like coming in and watching and peering in.
Yeah.
mhm.
I think another commonality is that all of those people, they tended to be like outcasts. Like, I think the mother, she was kind of like, I guess she could be considered like out of the, I don't know, she was a single mother, like that in the 70s, that was probably a big deal, like very stigmatized. I think Roy's character is definitely a symbol of like male depression, and I can get into that a little bit later, but and then there's like all those hippie people, like the one guy that says that he's seen Sasquatch, and you've met those kind of people. I mean, maybe you guys haven't, but here in Alberta, you'll definitely meet people like that. And yeah, they're just like these outcasts that don't fit into the conventions of normal society. It seems like.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that in Alberta, people bring Sasquatch up
Yeah.
looking for him. Definitely not here. Though I guess maybe some small town in middle of nowhere, Ontario, might have something like that.
Wait, so is Sasquatch real then?
Could be. Well, you know how you guys were or you were saying how like just because we haven't seen aliens doesn't mean they're real, kind of thing? Or you were saying that like because the universe is infinite, like there could be aliens and stuff. I was reading this book by Werner Herzog, another really good director, and the book is called The Future of Truth. And anyways, he kind of addresses like all of these conspiracy theories. He's like, we've had video and photograph technology for over 120 years, and we have got nothing but crappy photos that are just like no one's ever been able to get a clear shot of these aliens. Like, why do we like to like self-deceive ourselves? Why do we like self-deception? And I think that goes back to when they're in that conference room and the head director, he's like, sometimes we make these things up just so we have a more interesting life. Like we don't want to accept the fact that we go to work, we come home, and then we die.
Yeah, no, I've heard that before. A similar idea. And yeah, I guess that is true. That maybe as much as we want to put belief in a grander purpose, maybe there's not. But I guess I do believe that at least. But of course, at least here on this earth, we don't have much else going on. I was just looking up, trying to see Sasquatch and Alberta. Like, what is the relation going on there? New wave of Bigfoot sightings in the United States is getting people talking. And you're looking a little more closely at the tree line next time, you would head west of Cochrane. Cochrane's in Alberta, right?
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes from me.
Yeah, so
That's
as well
the
as
latest
that sounds,
sighting.
yeah, says Alberta actually has a long history of its own Sasquatch stories. One of the earliest to date was back in 1811, and near what is now known as Jasper National Park.
Have you guys heard that Cain from the Bible has been considered to be the Sasquatch? because
No.
he's cursed to roam the earth for the rest of the earth's existence, and he's like apparently very described as very hairy. So everyone thinks that the Sasquatch is actually just Kane.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, if we believe in that, then he's here somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
hiding in the mountains. And again, actually, it's very interesting. Canada is so uninhabited because of all the wildlife, and I mean, it's not possible to really settle in some of these places. But like just flying, I remember flying over British Columbia, and you see just how much crazy land there is out there. That's like not at all where people live. It's like a lot. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, what's to say? What weird stuff is hiding out in the Canadian wilderness? You know what? We should make a movie on that. What goes on?
Was there a scene that kind of spooked you guys out the most?
I would probably say the scene that you said, where
Yeah.
they're coming up and they're just staring into the oblivion.
If besides the Barry kidnapping one, which was great and crazy, because the amount of different, I guess, effects, not visual, but practical, I'd imagine, with like the oven and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, this is the
Yeah.
70s. How are they doing this?
Yeah, it was fantastic. A lot of the stuff they were doing there. I was just gonna mention, yeah, the scene where he's in the shower and his wife gets in, and like it's just very intense, right? Like
Mhm.
imagine being a little kid and you see your dad, like your mom freaking out about your dad, and your dad just like asking for her to believe him, right, or believe that this is what's going on. But at the same time, you almost don't blame her after what he does to their kitchen, and she takes the kids to his sisters or her sisters, because like, what do you even say? She doesn't want to call the police on the guy because she doesn't want to arrest the father of her children, which I'm sure is something that people who struggle with their spouses would say a lot of the time. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty insane what was going on there, and just like the yelling. And I don't even know what the kids were. What was the kid doing? Like, stop being a crybaby and like slamming the door. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was all about, to be honest, because is that something that his dad has told him, and so that he sees his dad like that now, he's like, what the heck is this? Like, you can't. You have to be tough.
Yeah, that was also really kind of disheartening, seeing the domestic, I want to say violence, but yeah, the arguing, the fighting, and just the crashing out. And I think it was specifically the dinner scene, I think when he was sculpting out of the mashed potatoes and his son was tearing up, realizing that his dad's kind of going crazy. And yeah, it kind of just made you think for those situations that happen in real life. Tough situation for sure, seeing one of your parents kind of go through it and lose it, definitely hard. But I would say the first introduction of the song, the notes with when they were in India and
Yeah,
they were
the
singing, oh my goodness, that gave me the chills. I was like, I don't like this is spooky.
I think if it was a scarier melody, it might have done. For me, it was more so just like, it sounds like they're in praise. It sounds like they're excited.
Yeah.
The type of notes that they're singing.
Yeah, I
Credit to John Williams.
Yeah, he created that.
I have a question for you guys. This might not be an interesting question at all, but when they're like interviewing Roy, like when he infiltrates the secret camp or whatever, he drives across like all this barbed wire and just freaking destroying this rental car. But they sit him down and they ask him if he's an artist. Why do you guys think that he asked that? I don't have the answer. I was just curious if it was like.
Let me pull up the movie right now and check it out again.
I mean, I don't even remember them specifically asking that question, but my thought, just I guess what I think is, because the French guy, right? He's like, he was aware enough to realize that there was something different about these people with the lie and propaganda that the government was spreading about this chemical explosion and it being unsafe, everyone was fleeing, but yet these people felt compelled and drawn to go to this place for some willing to risk their own health. And so that was, I guess, I read something that he realized was different. And so I don't know, maybe artists have some sort of special connection. I don't know. Maybe that just makes them different, unique, and able to perceive things in a different way. But then there was that girl who was also drawing all those pictures, right? And this guy was sculpting all these pictures. So I don't know, like I'm sure that they shared those experiences, right? Because he said that's something they all had in common, was they all had these visions of the Devil's Tower. And so I guess they were pretty much an artist, because I mean, those are what artists do, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Because I just recently took this course on Bob Dylan, and anyways, he kind of like led out this countercultural revolution after 1965 into like the late 70s, which was kind of when this film was made, and it seemed to all be students, artists, I guess people who were wanting change or certain way of thinking.
I have it's a bit uninspired, because this is literally a Google search asking, why do they ask Roy if he's an artist in Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Apparently the AI collective answer is that because his encounter with the UFO left him with a telepathically implanted vision of the Devil's Tower.
Okay, so what I said.
Yeah, what you said. Just confirming that.
Nice.
You are smarter than AI.
I believe it. I frankly don't remember, as Josh said, the line, so I was kind of like, well, why? Like, yeah, if he did bring it up, why did they do that? But yes, now that you bring it, yes, they were drawing plenty. They were doing plenty. He was an artist in himself, sculpting that massive. Like, actually, I was pretty impressed with the sculpture of like the big dirt Devil's Tower in his home.
That was good.
It's a lot, yeah. Like I don't even. Where was the chicken wire in that?
Yeah, true.
Just a bunch of dirt.
Okay, I just want to ask two questions here, kind of in closing before we wrap things up. But we can, Roy crashes out. He goes crazy, obsessed through most of this movie. But it almost seems like once he crosses those lines in the barbed wire, he seems like the sane one. Like, he seems more normal. And then even by the end, he seems like, okay, yeah, like this guy was right. Like, but then it's also like, is he being portrayed as a hero for the film, for like seeing these things and like warning everyone and leading people, I guess, to reveal all this information? Or is he like a bad father for ditching and leaving his family? I don't know. Like, what do you do in that situation? Like,
well, kind of, I guess what I was saying is that I think he honestly didn't have even control over his actions. I thought that what he was doing sort of had to do with like a hive mind, for those that have witnessed the UFO or the aliens. Like, they all start building this Devil's Tower, and whatever they do, they start seeing certain things in their head. So I feel like him driving through the crowd of cars and all that, like, that had more to do with him not even having control of himself doing that. Like, he feels like the alien ship is calling him to that spot. And I think that's why, like, the other ones felt the same way too. Like, they were determined to get up there because they felt that they needed to be there. And at least that's what I gathered from the movie. I thought that he, frankly, didn't even have much control over his own actions anymore. Like, his mental state was all about whatever the aliens wanted him to do. Actually, sorry, just to finish, like, is he a hero? I don't really think so. I think that the movie kind of just follows along, like, the perspective of these types of, like, witnesses. I'm not sure if there's really a specific hero or even villain, I suppose, to the story.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as a character, he's definitely a crappy guy. But like in the overarching like grand scheme of things, I think Steven Spielberg and the writer intended him to kind of be a hero because he was infiltrating the government and like kind of attempting to expose these ideas and these secrets that the government was attempting to hide. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see that too.
No, I like that. I like that. It's interesting too because Spielberg also said, he says, after being a father now, he says that he regrets writing it that way, that he ditched his family because
Right.
he would write it differently now being a father. So don't go running off being obsessed with aliens to the point where you're gonna
Hey,
you
well,
know
Barry's
abandon
his
your
kid now.
family. And then like you said, I thought it was crazy that he ended up kissing this woman who ended up running off with
That
to
was
find these
unbelievable.
aliens. Like, you
Yeah.
really felt that compelled and connected with her that he was like, oh, I need to kiss you right now.
Oh man.
Passions and different like common interests, because actually if you think about it, in that one scene where they first meet these people and they talk about the wife wants to go see Pinocchio or whatever in the theaters, and he just wants to chill at home with his sons. Like, there's this little disconnect between the interests of each other. And I mean, she didn't believe him either, right? When she was talking about the UFO. I feel like a good wife would kind of believe your husband, no?
Yeah.
So she had no interest in believing him. And so I guess we see how just incompatible they seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Did it-
I mean, he only knew her for a little bit of time and kissed her, you know what I mean? Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap things up here? Any last final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like something I'll touch on is I read that this movie had like multiple cuts where the ending, you know, as we have it, I think the version I watched on streaming is the original. The studio felt pressure to have to like show the inside of the spaceship, but apparently Steven Spielberg really wasn't a fan of that. So then there was another director's cut, which was like an extra 2 minutes, and that had more footage of what Steven Spielberg wanted to show. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it didn't include the spaceship. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, it could be a very different movie, and I don't even know if that would ruin it, but clearly Steven Spielberg wasn't a fan of showing the inside of a spaceship. Maybe that kind of, I guess that kind of ruins the mystery. Like, they really keep us like on our toes about what exactly even went on that whole movie, and what it's better sort of like as a mystery what the spaceship looks like rather than actually going inside of it. And I just also wanted to add that the movie originally they had agreed that it would be only like 2 point something million dollars. At the very end, it was around 19 million at that time. So
Shoot.
entirely ridiculous amounts of money went into this movie, but luckily he made that money back because it was one of the most successful movies of that year.
Yeah, it made like over 300 million. So
Star Wars better though.
yeah, that's the thing. It just did come out with Star Wars, so it was in the shadows of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was just gonna add that, like, in my opinion, if in the year 1977, if we were to compile a list of like the best movies, I do think Star Wars would be on top of this one, but they're not the same. Okay, I'll understand.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of its own thing. But do you have anything you want to say, Jay?
All I gotta, I mean, I wish I could talk about this movie for a lot longer.
I know.
But
I know.
But yeah, no, I'm left with a lot of unanswered questions, so I'm very curious to like rewatch this and kind of do some more deeper analysis and some articles that have been written on it. So yeah, it's just one of those movies that leaves you thinking.
Maybe we'll do a part 2, not next week, but maybe down the road we'll revisit it, which I think could go for some other big classics we've done before. But yeah, might be worth. I mean, we've talked for about as long as we usually would, almost, but
it still doesn't feel like we've even really gotten into
no, I would agree.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't had the time to really get into this movie because it's so good and there's so much to talk about. But yeah, like this is a classic and has influenced lots of movies to come out in this day and age. I love this movie. I love the way it was told. I love the way it was shot, the acting. I just love it. And I also, one of my favorite scenes was the ending with the huge mothership coming over. I thought that was so cool. I could only imagine what this looked like in like a 4K remastered on the IMAX. I think that would be beautiful. I would definitely go see this movie if they did a re-release for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode, guys. Do we know what episode we want to do for next, what movie we want to do for next week?
It's all you, Daniel.
I did while we were talking, probably earlier. I was looking at like what is available right now, what exactly is like would make sense. I don't actually see too many like interesting movies available through like the new movies on streaming that I think would be fitting. So I did look at like what is coming out, and it actually turns out that a very classic animated movie is getting its 5th movie added the next weekend. So I thought, why not take the opportunity to discuss probably one of the most important, probably the most important animated movie, arguably of all time, and that is Toy Story, the first one, 1996 or 95, I believe.
Nice.
That is a good one. The OG trilogy, but they kept making more.
Mind you, the 4th one wasn't really that bad, was it? I think it was pretty good, but it's still like it had the perfect ending already. They did not need to keep adding, but we can talk about that in the next one.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Cinema Uncivilized. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to get our weekly updates or to get notified for our weekly episodes. But yeah, comment. Let us know. Let us know in the comments what are some of your favorite alien movies that you've seen, or if you've had any close encounters. Let us know, comment, and we'd love to talk about it on the next pod. So yeah, have a good week, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.